Good morning. So following up on what Jerry and others have said, in a national context, all East Coast provinces are considered smaller centres. In Nova Scotia, well, almost everywhere is considered a smaller centre, whether it's Halifax or Yarmouth or Truro. But regardless of your definition, we've been able to serve clients regardless of the size of the community. We'll focus on rural and smaller communities, but somebody mentioned scalability this morning. Keep scalability in mind as we talk. So the idea at iSANS is that we're integrating appropriate use of technology into the efficient service delivery for newcomers. Convenience, high-quality learning, and personalized or customized for immigrants. Currently using appropriate technology that maximizes access. So access is a theme, a continuing theme for smaller communities. Access is a barrier and as well as other barriers, regardless of their geographic location. We're looking at alternative delivery methods. We'll use words like web conferencing, live streaming, online. But before we get into maybe what those mean, and if we did a little survey, probably each one of you might have a slightly different idea that comes into your mind about what we mean by those. But it doesn't really matter. So we don't want technology to become the conversation. We don't want learning management systems and servers and plugins and browser compatibility, backups and upgrades. We don't want any of that in the front end, in the service delivery. We want that to be invisible so that it doesn't interrupt the quality of the service delivery. We all know there's quality services and programs throughout Canada, but especially here with the solid organizations that we have. So just so we're sort of on the same page, we use the term web conferencing to mean like a FaceTime or a Skype type interaction. So one-on-one or one-on a couple. And we do this for our counseling sessions, any one-on-one things, mentoring, interviews, whether it's a mock interview for clients or whether it's a HR interview internally for our HR department. Language instruction, so English in the workplace, supplements link home study. And in our online courses that we'll talk about in a minute, it supplements some of the online components. So web conferencing, webinar, one-on-one kind of thing. Live streaming, we use this in that, so if we're here as a group in a room, so we've got people in a room, and then others are watching us and interacting with us from who aren't in the room. They can be in the next room, they can be in the next building over, they can be at the other side of the country or the other side of the world. Live streaming to allow folks to participate from remotely, from afar, outside the building, whatever you want to call it. So a few examples that we do at iSANS, some very exciting ones. The IMG Clinical Skills Review Program. There's a group in the room, not quite as large as this, but a group of international medical graduates in the room with a practicing physician, with 2 simulated patients, and it's like a role play. The immigrant IMG will play the role of a physician in whatever the health concern, whatever the visit is. We get feedback from the observers and feedback from the practicing physician. Those folks outside the room, whether it's Truro or Yarmouth or Prearrival overseas, won't get the opportunity to be the role play in the physician role, but they get the advantage of hearing the feedback, hearing the conversation and discussion after, and watching the interactions. And you can read these. Focus group, business series, we call it. It's presentations, business presentations. With our business clients, businesses are open all hours of the day and night, so it's not always easy to get into our location. So they're able to participate, whether it's from their business, if it's a slow time, or maybe it's closed. Staff meetings, advisory councils, on-site recruitment sessions, and workshops. So we have a workplace culture type workshop that we present the workshop, and we've got pockets of people participating, community members and or immigrants participating throughout the Nova Scotia Community College video conferencing rooms. So they're at the smaller centres in the Nova Scotia Community College, and our workshop presenter or facilitator is on site giving that presentation. So again, the word access. How do we access? How do smaller communities, or how do communities outside the hub, whatever the hub is, whether it's a Kentville hub for the YMCA in Nova Scotia, or whether it's the hub here in St. John's, how do we reach out into smaller communities? And then the third way we have is online, so online delivery. We have orientation materials to local communities, to the province as well. We also do skill development courses in employment, communication, and business. And those, again, many delivery items within each one, and can be accessed. Again, it's not for everyone, but can be accessed anywhere with high-speed internet. I was talking to someone from Newfoundland, and I was saying, "What's your coverage like for high-speed internet?" Pretty good. I think it's better than in Nova Scotia, because we still have pockets that don't have very good access to the internet. So all of this is reliant on the internet and on the end user's ability. Another thing that we do online is online communities. So we have a very active, a very enthusiastic community of international medical graduates and some of the other professions there. They have an online discussion. They post interesting articles, interesting events that are coming up that are relevant to their community. They ask questions and get answers from each other. It's a real support community as well as information gathering and sharing. Also, our language instructors and some of our other facilitators have an online community of practice where, again, they share best practices and share good days, share bad days, get support from each other and suggestions. So whether it's smaller communities, larger communities, the online community really goes beyond borders. So currently, it's working around, so what we're currently at iSANS delivering is we're delivering around the province. Anyone around the province can access, again, eligibility, language level, things like that, can access our online services, whether they're web conferencing, live streaming, or online. So rural, urban, post-arrival, pre-arrival, there are no boundaries. Our boundaries, regional boundaries, provincial boundaries, international boundaries, those are a little bit artificial in the delivery world. In the funding world, they're very clear, very defined, very rigid sometimes. That inhibits the collaboration and sharing of resources. We're working on that. How do we make resources that are available, that we've spent and invested a lot of time and effort and money into? How do we make those available to other like-minded organizations? Again, rural, urban, post-arrival, pre-arrival. What we've been doing, playing at really, but what trying to do in the past couple of years is just that, is providing opportunities for settlement organizations across Canada to deliver the same post-arrival services online as ISANS has available. We're calling this SOIC, Settlement Online in Canada. So we have now, for example, a large immigrant serving agency in Calgary who has satellite offices in Red Deer, in Banff, in Jasper, I'm not sure of all the names, but in smaller communities around there. So it's supporting their online courses, workshop material, communities. It's supporting their existing resources, their existing capacity. New Brunswick, we have an existing, I think it's a business type program who's using our one of our online courses, our online writing course, to supplement the content and delivery of their program. We have somebody in downtown Toronto who's using, or subscribing and using our courses. So again, really, these definitions of smaller, larger, boundaries, pre-arrival, post-arrival, it's scalability. Smaller centers, smaller scalability. Larger centers, larger scalability. The flexibility of it that we've been able to maneuver has really helped in scaling up or scaling back. We have a similar initiative pre-arrival, and I think Howard had this on his slide. So pre-arrival, we have a group of agencies, and you can see them there, across Canada who are delivering a federally funded program, pre-arrival. So before folks come to Canada, we're delivering the similar pre-arrival programs online as post-arrival. So folks are getting prepared just a little bit sooner in the comfort of a familiar environment. So you might say, so what? Somebody said, so what this morning on their side. So what? Immigrants are integrating faster. So the topic of this session is integrating immigrants into smaller communities. Immigrants are integrating into smaller communities. 100% of the folks who were surveyed who are online are here. You can see they're more connected, they're more prepared, they're more knowledgeable. Their resources and tools for job search are more effective. They're more knowledgeable, again, about their community, about the local labor market, and their skills have improved, whether it's job search skills, whether it's language development skills. So if we look at integrating immigrants into smaller communities, this is not to replace existing resources. Sometimes there are no resources. So some of these tools are helpful there. Or, as we're currently seeing, they're a good supplement to the human face. Let's do what we can online, some of the general things, and then leave the more specific, the guidance and the navigating to people on the ground. So that's it for ISANS and our online and pre-arrival and smaller center programs and services. Thank you.